about that.
Heard of a word named Muhammad?
No. I am talking about that doctrine. The doctrine in the beginning was the word was God, and the word was God was only preached by one person, and that was John. Jesus never knew about it. Mark never knew about it. All the disciples of Jesus, this thing is strange to them.
Prophet, supposedly in the Islamic perspective, would come from Arabia. Guess what though?
Was John a prophet?
There was revelation.
Was John a prophet?
That was new.
Was John a prophet? God didn't say He revealed the angel through John.
That there will be, in your view, a prophet coming to through the line of Ishmael to Arabia. But that happened. That was new.
Chris, don't let us.
It's almost as if progressive revelation can reveal things new after a period of time. And we both agree with this.
I agree with you, but revelation was not given to John. Gospel was not revealed to John.
How do you know that?
Because God says He revealed the angel to Jesus, not John.
So you assume the Quran is true. To get out of the Islamic dilemma, the question is whether the Quran is true.
Jesus told us in all these books that He came to preach the gospel. And that's the reason why He told his disciples. Yeah, and part of the good news wasn't in the beginning was the word was God. It is a strange.
You know?
Because none of the disciples of Jesus preached this except John. And
no one mentioned a prophet coming to Arabia except Muhammad in the Quran.
No, it's also in the Bible.
Where?
Isaiah chapter 23. Let's read from verse 9.
Where it says that what? Muhammad?
Yes, not Muhammad, Arabia.
Wait,
not Muhammad, Arabia.
If it's not Muhammad,
you are saying nobody says a prophet will come from Arabia. I am giving you a clue. A prophet will come from Arabia. It's also there in the Bible.
Muhammad came with a new revelation that told people that there was a prophet that is him to
28.
My point is this: every prophet comes with new revelation. So you cannot say, "Oh, well, only John had it, therefore we know it's false." That's an error.
See,
likewise, I can say, "Well, Muhammad mentioned X, Y, and Z."
Chris, what I'm telling you is this: the message revealed by God through prophets is different from what the disciples got.
And the only reason you know that is because you assume the Quran is true.
We are not talking about the Quran. I have not even started using Quran to judge the gospel. So I am using the previous book in the Old Testament.
How do you know the gospel is a book?
Because it is a revelation. Jesus said He came to preach the gospel.
Yeah. The good news.
Yes.
Okay, so it's not a book, it's good news.
See, whatever God revealed, when God revealed Torah, it was in the book.
How do you know?
Of course, it was written, it was oral, and we have a record.
Oral and then became written.
No, and we have a record. Listen. We have a record. We have a record in the Bible that Moses wrote it down.
Right. Okay.
Yes, he wrote it down. It was received orally, and they wrote it down.
So
yes.
That could be the same for Jesus then. Jesus gave His message orally as the good news, and then it was written down.
Yes.
So you think the gospel is the orality to the good news?
The oral is the good news, and it was written. It's the same thing with the Quran.
So
Quran was revealed orally, and it was written down.
It's a different book.
What do you mean by book?
Because you said it's written down. It's written down, right? You said it's oral.
It may not be in one. It may be in piece and piece. What he's trying to say is that in that Bible.
Wait.
Isaiah 29.
Wait. That's what I want to give you.
About it. But inside it, you can find the Injil, words that are Injil, and you can find some words that are actually historical about this. Isaiah 21.
Wait. Okay. So if
from verse 13.
Let me try and understand.
From verse 13.
That the Bible existed only the time of.
So there was a revelation given to Isa that was then written down that existed at the time of Muhammad. That is not the same thing as Matthew. 13. That is not the same thing as Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. It's not the same thing.
Sorry, he was distracting me. 13.
Okay, so there was a revelation given to Isa. It was then written down. At Muhammad's time, that written down revelation is present. And when the Quran refers to it, it's not referring to Matthew, Mark, Luke and John, it's referring to that revelation that is written down. Yeah?
Can I talk?
I want to answer, I need to know.
That's what I want to talk about.
Wait,
that's what I want to talk about.
And then you can do this, right? Okay, so you've agreed that I've correctly summarized your belief there. Okay, in which case then, I have evidence from the 7th century in manuscript form of what Christians and even other groups thought the Injil was. It's Matthew, Mark, Luke and John. The Ethiopians that Muhammad's companions interacted with had Matthew, Mark, Luke and John. Those in Yemen at the time who were Christians who interacted with Muhammad's companions had it as Matthew, Mark, Luke and John. There is no evidence at all in the manuscript tradition that there is an alternative Islamic Injil and Islamic Gospel. If you can't produce to me any evidence, then all the evidence is with what I'm saying and none is with what you're saying. And therefore you should abandon your belief, your opinion immediately, because there's no evidence.
Okay, Chris, what you need to understand is this. Whatever revelation God gives, either to Moses, to David, to Jesus or Muhammad, it was given orally. And while it was given orally, people wrote it down. In the case of Jesus, after he died, we found his disciples or his followers writing his history. They wrote about his history, and there's no way you're going to write about his history that you will not write something about the gospel. And what we have, the account of Matthew, Mark, Luke and John, I agree with you. That was what was in existence during the time of Prophet Muhammad. But wait. But inside it, just like if you read the Ibn Ishaq, if you read the story of biography of the Prophet, you are going to be seeing Quranic statement in it. But that book cannot be called Quran, it is biography of the Prophet. So the same thing is Matthew, Mark, Luke and John, they are biography of Jesus. Because if you are writing about Jesus, perform miracle, he healed the blind, that is not gospel. And that's the reason why Jesus said in Luke chapter 4 verse 18, I have come to preach the gospel, to heal those born blind, to heal the lepers. So you can see that apart from preaching the gospel, he also has some other mission that he came to do. And why people were recording that? They were recording it because these are things that Jesus did. Also the issue of crucifixion, it was historical event. They wrote it down, but that doesn't make it gospel.
So first of all, can we start to move this towards the end of the debate? Because I have a train that I have to go and catch.
No problem.
Basically immediately after this.
No problem.
Because it's 2 minutes past 5.
No problem.
9 minutes past 4.
Okay.
Okay. So a few key things here. If the Injil is I still don't know if you think that the one that the Quran refers to is not Matthew, Mark, Luke and John.
No.
Okay. The problem is that in places like Surah Al-Ma'idah, Surah 5, Ayah 47, and also in Surah Al-Ma'idah 68, the Christians are told they are to judge and they are to stand on the Injil.
Yes.
Which Injil is that referring to?
So fine. You see that during the time of the prophet, the Christians have doctrine as per their judgment. And where they find those doctrines are inside the book of Matthew, Mark, Luke and John. So what I'm telling you is that in the book of Matthew, Mark, Luke and John, you can find the traces of Injil there.
Okay, so it's sufficient judgment and laws and theology.
Yes. Okay. But the only thing is this. There are things that are ascribed to Jesus as that Jesus said it. And one of those things is what I've told you, that when you say Jesus said it was written somewhere that so, but it was not written anywhere. You cannot say Jesus said so.
Right. Okay, so first of all, the things that are in the Injil, Matthew, Mark, Luke and John, that you accept as there at the time of Muhammad that contain these things in, say things like Jesus was crucified, Jesus is the Son of God.
Those are historical events. Those are historical events.
Resurrected. And every single one of them says that.
Those are historical events.
If that level of error, and in your view blasphemy, is present in the Injil, how can the Quran affirm it?
No, see, try and separate something. You brought up this topic, Islamic dilemma, and you said the Quran says the gospel is revealed to Moses and Jesus, and you said that there are certain things in the gospel that contradict the Quran. But I am saying there is nothing whatsoever in the gospel that Jesus preached that contradicts the Quran.
But the only way you know
and
is you assume
wait now. And anytime you are reading something that contradicts the Quran, you end up finding out that they are just history being written by men, and it wasn't what Jesus preached as gospel.
Prove it.
I have done that. Let me give you an example. Okay, I'm going to give you an example.
Okay, can you do your final?
I will give you an example. Let me give you. You said I should prove it.
Final stuff, and then I have my final stuff. So I'm gonna have to go soon.
You said I should give you. You said I should prove it. I want to prove it to you.
Can you do it in your final bit?
Okay.
Yeah, like maybe have like 3 minutes or something.
Okay.
And then I have 3 minutes because I need to go soon.
No, you can. Okay. In the book of Matthew, chapter 23, verse 35, we are told that Jesus said that when he was talking about the Jews, and he was telling them that the blood that they shed would be upon them, from the blood of Abel till Zechariah, son of Berechiah, who they murder on the doorstep of the altar. And when you look at that statement historically, if you go to the book of 2nd Chronicles chapter 24 verse 20 to 22, you will find that the Zechariah that was murdered was not Zechariah son of Berechiah, but it was Zechariah son of Jehoiada. And that the Zechariah son of Berechiah that Jesus was referring to in the book of Matthew came 400 years after that event, and that was the Zechariah that wrote the book of Zechariah. You can find that in Zechariah chapter 1 verse 1. So you cannot say that it was Jesus that was saying this. If you say Jesus said it, then it means that we are saying that Jesus is a liar, was a liar, or he does not know about the history of the Jews. And Allah says in the Quran that he taught Jesus about the Torah and every other thing. So those things cannot be ascribed to Jesus. So that is why the New Testament, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, cannot be an account of gospel that was revealed to Jesus.
You okay with that?
Yeah.
Alright, so I'm just going to give my final statement basically, partly in a response, but also just to summarize my position, and you guys can decide what you think about both of our views afterwards. So, the kind of methodology he's using to establish this point is basically he assumes the validity of the Quranic narrative in order to then reflectively look back at the scriptures and declare that they are in error, and that whatever is in error is discarded and couldn't have possibly been in the original Injil and Torah. The issue with it though is that it's a circular argument. It assumes that the Quran is true de facto before you can do that. I could play the same game. I could say something like, I believe in the Quran, except I don't accept all the things that weren't originally given to Muhammad. Like that bit in the Quran that says that the Christians believe in 3 separate gods. That's obviously false. So that couldn't have been the actual revelation of Muhammad. I could do that if I wanted to, but it's a circular argument because it ultimately looks at the fact that I'm assuming certain things to be true a priori before I even get to evaluate things objectively. When I evaluate things objectively, is there any evidence for anything outside of Matthew, Mark, Luke and John that is some sort of Islamically compatible Injil or Torah? No. But you say, well, the Injil, Matthew, Mark, Luke and John can be referred to, but it can be done in some sort of way where you can say, yes, it contains the actual gospel, but only parts. But again, what metric do you use to dissuade that? Well, ultimately it's just the Islamic paradigm. So it assumes Islam in order to defend Islam against the Islamic dilemma. That's circular, guys. It's a really bad argument. Okay. So that's my point, ladies and gentlemen. I think really, I've demonstrated how this paradigm doesn't work in your religion.
Okay. Nice meeting you. I think he has your number.
Yes.
I got your number.
Thank you very much.
The conversation will continue. Thank you.
God bless you.
Okay.